Alright, welcome to the new season. I think we've done a pretty good job protecting our development gains through the regs change, so the car should be pretty decent. But get out there and let us know how it feels.
Welcome back everyone to the start of a brand new season in my F1 My Team career mode. Now if you didn't see the pre-season episode part 0 of the new season, then go check it out. I'll leave it linked up in the top right hand corner of your screen. And also guys, before we jump into things here today, if you're new to the channel, you're watching for the first time, over half the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you want to help me out, I'm on the way to 75k, possibly even 100, then consider hitting the red subscribe button, it really helps me out. But today, here we are then, you can see in the background, we are solid mid-table right now, heading into the new season. Very, very good news. We protected all of our upgrades at the end of Season 1, and we start off the season with a very, very solid base and foundation, and a car that's well in the midfield. So I'm very excited about this. I think we've got a lot of potential, and hopefully a lot of good targets to hit this year. The only issue is, as you guys may know from the previous episode, we messed up in the contract window, and our teammate is Aaron Barnes. So we're going to be pretty much a one-car team because Aaron is a 25 overall driver, which is, well, it kind of speaks for itself, really. So, yeah, after practice, we done all of our personal targets. I think we only missed out on one of them in the race strategy. Besides that, we still scored a maximum 600 points. Now, one good thing about Aaron Barnes is he scored 200 R&D points, which is far more than Lundgaard, I think, ever did at any point last season. So that's already a small victory for us this year in terms of changing teammates. After practice, though, no real big changes to the team acclaim. And yeah, we're now ready to jump into qualifying, the first one of the new season, which I'm very excited about. And we're going to see if these improvements are going to count for anything. So let's jump into it. Q1, and we're going to see if we can hook up the car, set a good enough lap time, and move into Q2. And as you can see, brand new race suit, updated helmet design, everything fresh and ready to go. Of course, brand new livery as well. If you guys haven't seen it, then I'll leave the episode up from the last time linked in the top right for you guys to go see it in some real detail and some nice on-track screenshots. But here we are then, you join me in Q1, and currently at the end of my first push lap, which I've got to say was a really good banker lap. The worst part of it was the final corner, which is you're about to see right now. So I broke way too early, I took too much inside curb and just didn't carry enough corner speed or corner exit speed, so we lost a bit of time there. Besides that, the lap was actually decent. We go P9 ahead of Lundgaard and Barnes, behind Giovinazzi and Raikkonen, and eventually, by the time the session was coming to an end, we dropped to P17, so we need to get in one place to get into Q2. So here was my final attempt at Q1. Let's see if it's enough to move into the second part of qualifying. And there it is, across the line. It's a pretty good lap. We had one snap though midway through the lap, and I think that mistake may have just cost us. That little snap of oversteer where I lost the momentum, I think it may have just meant I missed out on Q2, because we get knocked out P17, but by literally half a tenth. I do believe had we not made that mistake, I probably could have got through. So a bit of a shame that we didn't make it. I think the car was good enough, but yeah, not ideal. And I did actually change monitors for this race. I'm running on a smaller monitor now, so I was still kind of getting used to it for this one. So you'll see me hopefully improve in the next few races. But still, our teammate though, P22, quite aware of the pace, to be honest, and that's what we're going to be seeing, I think, all season long. But anyway, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the opening race of Season 2 here at Bahrain.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, Russell, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, and Tsunoda, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Martinez and Mick Schumacher, Lundgaard, Latifi, Mazepin. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay, so here we are then on the grid for the season opener in Bahrain. We start from P17, of course, after qualifying yesterday. And strategy-wise, we're going to roll the dice and go quite conservative. So we're going to start on the hard compound tyre and then move to the medium. I feel like this is definitely the fastest strategy. So it's the kind of alternate of the alternate strategy, if that makes sense. If you can make this work, you're going to be very fast over the whole race and towards the end. So all we've got to do is try and make the hard tyre work in the first 5 to 6 laps of the race. If we can survive that, we're going to be pretty decent. So let's see what happens. Fuel-wise, I'm running 0.1 extra, almost 0.2, just enough in case we have to kind of dip onto the 0.0. But the fuel should be a bit better than this time last year with the car and the engine now. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. Weather forecast, cloudy right now, but no chance of rain. So let's jump into it. I'm looking forward to it. If you guys are excited for this race, to kick off the season with a bang and then drop a like straight off the rip, and let's jump into the action here at Bahrain. Okay, here we go then. The lights are coming on for the first time this season. Let's make it a nice clean start. 5 lights and away we go. Decent start, even on the hard tyre. Happy with that. I've got Schumacher on my left. I'm going to get boxed in here, unfortunately, so we've just got to be patient. Into turn 1, 3 wide. We'll manage to go through the middle, though, and pick up the positions. So far, so good. P16, we've gained a place. I think we've jumped Giovinazzi at the start. Let's see how we go as we head into the rest of the lap. There's not going to be a lot of grip on these, so I'm going to be quite conservative. I'm running a new monitor this race, which is a bit smaller, so my eyes are still kind of getting used to it. And also, I recently changed from 360 degrees rotation to 300, so I'm still getting used to a couple of changes, which may affect my pace a little bit, but still, I'm trying to not let that distract me too much and trying to keep the pace pretty strong. So far, though, hard tyres don't feel too bad. I can work with this. Tsunoda there with a bit of a lock-up into turn 10. We're going to try and keep the pace up. Really important we don't drop out DRS. That's going to be the first kind of objective here in this race, is to stay in the DRS train. Therefore, we stay in the race. I just hope there's not a big gap or separation further ahead. But so far, these tyres don't feel too shabby. I don't mind this. Just got to keep it clean. Watch out for track and miss as well, of course, running strict corner cutting limits. And I think we're going to be okay. Fuel looks okay. We've got 0.1 in the reserve, if necessary. I wonder if we can get Sonoda here. I feel like my pace isn't too bad. The AI tend to run full power for the first 2 laps. Let's see how the race goes. I'm very happy with this so far. The car feels good already. Well, look at this. Aaron Barnes battling with Mick Schumacher for P19. He's actually had a pretty good start from last place and is up to 18th right now. So go on, Aaron, showing the pace on. I love that from you. Meanwhile, we're just about floating on that 1 second window, Sonoda. I've got to try and close that gap, so we'll start to use a bit more ERS as of when we need it. There's some battling going up ahead. Got some 3 wide action, I think. I think a Ferrari involved in there. Not quite sure, but it's kicking off. I'm just trying to hang on, really. We're still a little bit off the pace at this stage of the race compared to the medium runners. Obviously, the mediums will take a little bit longer to go off, but we've managed to catch back up now as these guys are battling away, so we can relax a little bit now. So it looks like right now, if we break the race down a little bit, we've got 2 packs. We've got the leading pack, which is Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin, and Red Bull. Then there's just a spare Ferrari, but generally speaking, Ferrari, Alpine, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri are all part of the second midfield group. So I think points-wise today, we're looking at like a top 7, top 8 at best. Still no one in the pits. I think it shouldn't be too long now as we set another personal best. Pace is pretty decent, but right now, realistically, we're just kind of stuck in a DRS train. That's all we can really do. Just we're going to have to wait for the pit stop phase or when the medium starts to drop off a little bit, starting from lap 10. Feels like Russell just going a bit slow right now. He's struggling for pace. Maybe something's happened to his car. I'm not quite sure, but the Ferraris have actually pulled away here, and so has Gasly. So we're going to try and follow Sonoda here because it feels like George is just having some issues with pace. And actually, George is going to pit, which is very early. So we're going to get Sonoda here. Let's go for it. No need to drain the battery. Ricciardo in the pit lane as well. Get it slowed down. There we go. Let's try and get onto the back of Ocon here and get back within DRS range. But a nice little double move there, which I wasn't planning on. So let's try and see if we've got any pace on these tyres and a bit of clean air. More cars in the pits, quite a few this time. As we set a personal best by 0.3 of a second. Very strong lap from us there. I did use quite a bit of ERS to try and close the gap to Ocon. Gap is 1.3, so we're getting closer. I've also dropped Sonoda out of range, which is really important. I believe Lando is the net race leader right now, so we'll see how he gets on. But I'm trying to see if I can get back within a second of Ocon. Here comes Lando. Will he pass me? I think he will. I'm not going to actually use any of my ERS. I'll let Lando take the reins. I'm going to try and follow him. We'll get DRS on him as well, so I won't have to use any of my ERS. And I think just naturally Lando is running a high engine mode, so he'll just drag us along. Hamilton's not too far behind, so he'll be on the back of us soon. As I think we have Bottas leaving the pit exit right there, so there we go. Let's just stick with Lando. That's going to be our way to catch up to Ocon. Well, we've got yellow further back. I can't properly look at it right now, but it might trigger something. So Valtteri behind. We're going to let Valtteri crack on here. I want the DRS, so there we go. We'll let Valtteri get on with it. Ocon and Lando battling away. I'm not actually losing too much time by doing this. It's helping us out. Bottas doesn't have DRS, but we're now pretty much all in a line. Hamilton now not too far behind. He'll probably pass us very soon as well. Oh, okay. Bottas going for it on Ocon here. So Esteban will be a bit slow. Looks like he hasn't lost too much time though. Hamilton having a look there around my outside. Just going to make sure he doesn't get through. I'd rather try and push for position. Yellow flag. And it's Lando.
Yellow flag.
Oh my god, Lando Norris out of the race. The race leader. No. What a shame.
Green flag.
This might be our one chance to get Ocon here. In case there's a safety car or something. Hamilton's coming through as well. I think Lewis is going to get the 2-for-1 special. Ocon has DRS. I'm going to let Lewis go down the inside here. I'm going to just follow him through as best as I can. There we go. Ocon has a poor exit. Oh, I just had to get off the throttle there. I lost a bit of momentum, but we've got the run anyways. Ocon giving me a nice old squeeze, but we're through. And we've got him. Let's try and get Kimi next. And there we go. We're now within DRS range of the Iceman. Ocon just dropping off a little bit. He can't quite match my pace. I do believe he's probably out of ERS right now. No cars in the pits. Let's close the gap to Kimi. We'll try and get him maybe on the next lap. But to be fair, I'm expecting him to pit this lap. Pierre Gasly pits, as does Kimi Raikkonen, so we'll get the slingshot, thank you very much.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Yep, just a few more laps to go. At the minute though, Gasly looks very strong for the best of the rest in the AlphaTauri. We've got both Aston Martins now closing in on us on fresh mediums. Let's try and find a bit of pace now. We've got some clean air. Let's see if we've got anything left in the tank. Okay, I think we're starting to really struggle now for pace. But we're keeping the Aston Martins behind. But I think I'm going to let them go here. I'm not going to fight. I'll try and see if I can stick with them for the final lap before I pit, which will be this one now. Lap 16.
In this lap, push now.
There they go. No time lost. I'm flat out on the throttle. A little bit early in the brakes just in case, but we'll now get DRS on this straight here, so hopefully we'll try and stick with them for the in-lap. I was going to pit, but I think I'm going to extend by one more. I'm still within DRS of the Aston Martins here, and I think they're going to start battling, so it'll be quite easy to stay within 1 second, I think. Hamilton pits for the second time. Here goes Sebastian Vettel on his teammate. And he's got ahead, and I've still got DRS, so let's keep going. This is working out for us quite nicely, actually.
Some information on Schumacher. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Schumacher out the race. Third retirement, but still no safety car or virtual safety car, which is a bit of a shame. Right, so we've got DRS here. That's the last of it. We're now going to box this lap. And there we go, into the pit lane. Job done. Decent stint. On for a personal best on my in lap, which is exactly what you want. Okay, so looking at the minimap, where do we want to be? I think we can actually be in the points here. I see an Alpha now coming into the final corner. We could be ahead of him and in the top 10 maybe.
Go now.
Away we go, we're P11 right now on mediums, but we are going to rejoin hopefully ahead of Kimi Raikkonen here. It's going to be close.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
It's going to be very close. But I think we're just going to make it. There we go. Give him the old squeeze. So Gasly up ahead. He's on the hard tyre. We've got to make up 8 seconds if we want to finish in the points today. It's going to be tricky. But we'll give it a shot and see what happens. We've got the freshest and better tyres on right now. So let's see if we can make the strategy work in the second half of the race. Let's see what our pace is like.
Some information on Ocon. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
That's a shame. Ocon's behind us, not really ideal for our race. Trying to drop Kimi out of DRS range here. So Ocon will start dropping back. And Leclerc pits actually, so does Verstappen. So we are going to be in the points. There's actually 4 cars in the pit lane, so we've got quite a few 2-stoppers, including an Aston Martin. That's Daniel Ricciardo, who we were just ahead of, but he's managed to get the overcut on us. Although to be fair, be on cold tyres. Let's see if we can get Ricciardo here maybe, and just be cheeky and get back ahead of him. Oh, that traction from Ricciardo is insane there. Never mind. That ruined any chance I had of getting ahead of him. But right now we're P9 in this race. I'm not sure if anyone else may have to pit. I think Stroll may have to pit if... sorry, Vettel have to pit if Stroll has. So let's see. But right now we're in the points. That's what we want. And there we have more cars in the pits as we get our first warning for track limits. Personal best by pretty much a full second. And we're now up into the top 7 this race. Very, very nice. Oh, Vettel forced wide there by Ricciardo. These two have been side by side the entire lap, and it's brought me back into DRS range, which is awesome. Let's try and hold on to it if possible. These two are still going at it. It's an absolutely gargantuan battle between these two. They've been side by side for ages now, for a better part of a lap, and it's keeping us in play. I'm trying to push as hard as I can to stay within 1 second, but even then, they're battling, but they are running full engine power to try and beat each other, which is making them really pull away on the straights. But if I can just get a bit of DRS here and there, that'd be great. Into the 26s. Very good pace right now. Verstappen isn't making massive inroads on Raikkonen, and he still has to pass him. So I'm feeling pretty confident by the lap here that we could maybe hold on to this P7 right now that we're in. But I've got to try and keep the pace up. Ideally, I'd love for Seb and Ricciardo to keep battling to lose a bit more time. Pace is still very good. Only 0.3 off my personal best. And now these cars, both Aston Martins and Ricciardo, are catching and battling Pierre Gasly, who's on the hard time. He's dropping back, man. We're closing in. We are faster than Pierre. I need him to lose a bit of time battling. I think I can catch Pierre Gasly here and pass him. Okay, so the bad news, they've all passed Gasly on the pit straight. It's been a very, very easy going one for Pierre. No time lost whatsoever, and he keeps on getting DRS. on the next straight, so I'm actually losing time to him. My pace is super consistent, it's just unfortunately it hasn't worked out in regards to the timing of when he's been lapped. Verstappen's closing in, but I need Pierre to drop out of that 1 second range ASAP. Verstappen's arrived, and I don't have any ERS to defend with, so it's going to be a tough one. I think we can keep Perez at bay. 2 laps to go, so it's one of them ones I'm going to have to make a choice. Do I battle Verstappen and then risk being passed by Perez as well, or do we let Max go?
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
I think I'm going to let Max go. I'd rather try and follow with DRS rather than lose 2 places and lose to Perez as well. Let's see what Max does here. Doesn't quite go for it. Oh, he does go for it. Wow, that was a bit of a pointless send, to be honest. That's going to cost us both time. That's exactly what I didn't want. But he's going to get me now, though. Let's just let him... Okay, he's going to go to the inside. Fair enough. Off you go, mate. Alright, come on. Go, go, go. Drive, drive, drive. Let's see if we can catch Pierre. Pierre should be out of the RS from battling. Here we are then. Last lap of the race. I've managed to stay within Verstappen's DRS, and it worked out beautifully. Perez wasn't able to get close enough. Bottas wins it. He wins the opener in Bahrain. I'm just going to bring home a very solid P8, which I'm very happy with. It's going to be a one-man team, one-man effort this season, so it's going to be tough. We couldn't quite catch Gasly, which I was a bit ashamed about. I thought we had good pace, but I think the mediums just started to go off a little bit as well. But there we go, P8 for us. It's good points in the opener, and we'll take that from P17 on the grid. Get in.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain and a real champion's drive to take the win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
And there it is then, confirmation of the final result. Bottas with the win and the fastest lap. Hamilton, the 8-time world champion, P2 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who went from P13 to P3. Great recovery drive from Daniel here today. Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, both Aston Martins in the top 5. Pierre Gasly, P6 for AlphaTauri. Verstappen, P7 in the first of the Red Bulls. We split them, finishing 8th place and ahead of Sergio Perez. Kimi Raikkonen scores the final point and rounds out the top 10 here today. And both Ferraris missing out on the 2-stop. P11, P12, they both don't score any points here today. Giovinazzi ahead of Ocon, Tsunoda, Russell, Latifi, Lundgaard, Barnes in P19 ahead of Mazepin, and then Mick Schumacher and Lando Norris out of the race. So there's your lot. We look at the standings after one race, and we're currently 8th, of course, same as the race results. In regards to the constructors, we are in 6th place right now, ahead of Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Alpine, Williams and Haas. Mercedes lead the way with a perfect 44 points. So yeah, there we go for the race. Job done. We're now going to move into upgrades and see what we can do heading into future races and into the next one, which of course is the Chinese Grand Prix.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Yeah, we did actually. The car was pretty strong. I think we need to work on some things, but generally it's a step up, and I think it's a very good foundation for moving forward. I really think as well today the car was really good for the corners. I really enjoyed it.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Who knows? There's always things that can happen in F1. It's always a bit of a crazy one, but for now we're pretty strong as a team, and that's all that matters.
You had a close battle today, didn't you?
We did. I really enjoyed it actually, and I think we played it smart, we did the right thing, and we finished ahead of him. So yeah, love it. And you know, battles like this always bring out the best, I think, in each other.
Appreciate your time.
Well, after the race, our new rival Sergio Perez, somehow we managed to actually equal points in the race, and we're only 1 point behind so far. You never know, we may actually have a chance, and we could possibly fight in this rivalry. Now, in terms of Acclaim, no big changes. Our teammate isn't going to bring anything to the table here realistically, so it's all on us to try and turn things around. We look at the cash flow after this race, and we get a full payout from all of our sponsors, and 460,000, very decent. Nice bit of money there, and also no damage as well, so an actual flawless weekend, which to be fair we did struggle to have with Lundgaard. So our total money now $12.5 million. So round number 2, the Chinese Grand Prix is upon us. First and foremost, let's jump into activities. We don't have a lot of time realistically. We'll go for a sponsor event to improve Team Acclaim. I want to try and get that level 15 so we can put an extra sponsor on the car and really improve cash flow. Alongside that, we've got a message of the reserve driver. Again, it seems to be bugged out, so we're going to get this every race regarding Aaron Barnes. So he's going to be stuck with us at least until mid-season. So in the comments down below, guys, I want you to write who you'd like to see as my teammate. If we look at the driver market, I've got my eyes on a few people, obviously Michael Schumacher being one of them. But, you know, there's a few more. Pierre Gasly, for me, has caught my eye. I'd like to see Pierre as my teammate. A lot of you mentioned Sebastian Vettel as well. His focus is quite low right now, but if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. I've also got a few more drivers who I'm scouting. Nico Rosberg being another one. I'd love to see Nico back in F1. George Russell as well, but he did recently move to Alpine, so we'll see how that shakes out. And, you know, possibly DC or Massa, who knows. By the way, a few drivers I've got my eyes on. Robert Schwartzman as well, actually, as one of the possible candidates as well. But I'll let you guys decide in the comments. I'll keep an eye on them over the episodes, and I'll see what you guys have to say. But we now have 2,000 R&D points, and we look at the departments. The engine needs work, so we're going to jump into that first. So here you can see upgrades complete. It's all the ones that we protected during the off season, and we've also got a few more supplier upgrades. Now we've got quite a few discounts. The pistons, 55% discount, very, very decent. We'll get that on straight away ASAP. Magnetic compound, 38% discount as well. We'll get that on, and then the ECU 25% as well. So well, not right now because the Department of Efficiency has been reached apparently, so we'll have to wait on that one, but we'll get that soon. Still got 1,000 points to spend, so maybe we can work on the chassis a little bit. We'll go for the heat dispersing wheel rims. It's been there for a little while, the upgrade. I want to get it on, so that's going to help us out with tyre wear. So there we go, we spent our points. Some pretty substantial upgrades coming in, and that's going to help us take a big step forward and get into that midfield fight, and hopefully ahead of Ferrari. So yeah, overall, a decent day at the office. I'm going to try and spend a little bit of money as well. We're going to go to the marketing department, and I'm thinking, out of these two, realistically, the sponsor relations is important, so we're going to improve Team Acclaim by 10% faster, so we'll get that as well. Leaves us with 9.28 million, and I'm going to keep some money on side because bearing in mind we have to sign a driver at the mid-season stage, so I want to try and keep a good amount of money so I can get a good teammate midway through this season. So with that said, we're all good to go. We can now move ahead to the next race in China, which I'm looking forward to because I don't enjoy China that much. It's not one of my favourites, but I prefer it to Russia, and it's going to help kind of break up the monotony of the F1 calendar. So China next, for the first time in this entire game, we're going to race there, so I'm very much excited about that. But if you guys enjoyed today's episode, then feel free to leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,500 likes on this. I believe you guys can do that. I trust you guys to deliver the milestone. Subscribe for more. As always, we're on the way to 70k and further along down the line to 100k at some point, so I'd love to get there someday. And yeah, consider hitting the red subscribe button. It really helps me out. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.